It's Friday night and you've got a hot date. Now, I know if you're someone who watches my videos, that's probably not likely, but I'm going to ask you to imagine, for the purposes of the story, the guy, girl, or non-binary person, because the doors are open here, everybody's welcome, that you've been interested in for a long time has finally agreed to go on a date with you. The night's going super well, so you decide you're going to be a little bit bold and you pull into a secluded area known as Lover's Lane because it's 1953 for some reason. You pull in and you're trying to figure out how to make that right move because you want to be subtle, but also you want to show that you can make a move. Eventually, you reach your arm around and it works. Just as your lips are about to meet, you hear a loud screeching sound coming from outside of your car. You step outside to see what's going on, and to your horror, there's a long, sharp cut going down the side of your car. Before you even have a chance to process what's going on, you see a man standing directly in front of you. He's an average looking guy. He's like 5'10", 170 pounds, decently muscular. Oh, did I mention he has no skin? That's right, he is completely skinless. He's standing there, there's blood dripping off of him. You can see all his muscles, all of his tendons. You can see his heart beating in his chest, and he's just staring at you. And to make matters worse, in his right hand, there's a long, rusty hunting knife. You are looking at the ghost of Skinned Tom, also known as Tennessee's biggest cockblock. That's what I call him. That's not like what he's actually known as. Skinned Tom is by far one of Tennessee's most popular urban legends. I'm going to do my best, but surprisingly, there's not a lot to work with here, so this is probably going to be pretty short. Which is the exact same thing my wife said the first time we ever had sex. The story of Skinned Tom takes place in the 1920s. Legend has it that there was a man named Tom who lived in Wallen, Tennessee, and this man was a bit of a player, or a raging nymphomaniac, whichever one you like better. Tom was so attractive and was overflowing with so much riz that all the women in the area were just throwing themselves at him, which is why I find him to be extremely relatable. Eventually, Tom made his way through every woman in his hometown, both single and married. And let me just say, I don't condone cheating by any stretch of the imagination, but you have to respect the game. This guy was like a Southern Rasputin. He cucked an entire community. Eventually, Tom decided that it was time to take his dick on tour, and he started with the next town over. He gets to the town, and he starts making his way through the women, when eventually he meets a woman named Eleanor. Eleanor's married, which doesn't deter him. If anything, it encourages him because he loves the rush of being with married women. But after some time with Eleanor, Tom begins to experience something that he never has before. He starts having genuine feelings for Eleanor. He's used to just being able to hit it and quit it. But for the first time in his life, he thinks he might actually be in love with her, to the point that he is spending all the time he can with her. They spend all their time talking about running away together or what they could do if only she weren't married. One of their favorite spots to meet was a place known as Lover's Lane. It was a secluded area that mostly teenagers would go to fool around. And let me just say, I wish I had a place like this when I was a teenager, because all I had was a Kmart parking lot, or if I was down bad enough, a church parking lot. I think I just dated myself and lost half my audience with that one sentence. Eventually, Eleanor's husband begins to suspect that something's up. For one, Eleanor's starting to wear a lot more makeup. She's gone at strange hours of the day. She keeps telling him she has to work late, which is weird because she doesn't even have a job. And so Eleanor's husband decides that he's going to try to investigate a little bit. He's an avid hunter, so he tells her that he's going on a hunting trip and that he'll be gone for a few days, and he parks his truck one street over. He watches as Eleanor immediately jumps on a phone call and then gets in her car and drives away. He tails her and ends up at Lover's Lane. Another car pulls up next to Eleanor's, and a man gets out and gets into her passenger side. In a blind rage, Eleanor's husband rips the passenger door open and pulls Tom out onto the ground. Eleanor starts begging him not to hurt Tom and tells him that, no, it's not what it looks like. Which I think you've already forfeited that argument when you're in a place known as Lover's Lane with another man. Her husband pulls out a long hunting knife and skins Tom alive. He then drags Tom's body into the woods, and neither of them are ever seen again. Eleanor gets the police, and they investigate for days, but they can't find any sign that the two were ever there. And after a week, the only thing they find is the perfectly preserved skin of Tom hanging from a tree. Now, according to the legend, Tom regularly appears in Lover's Lane in his skinless form, holding the same knife that was used to skin him alive, and he's there to scare people and to warn them about the dangers of infidelity. But it seems like Tom is not great at determining which couples are cheating and which couples are just normal couples, because he just scares the shit out of everybody. I don't think he's doing this altruistically. I think he's just mad that he can't use his junk and these people can. Tom has become so popular that he's not even stuck at Lover's Lane anymore. Anywhere that kids go to make out, Tom appears. There are records of him showing up in other states, not even in just Tennessee. He's so popular that he even has his own nursery rhyme, which is like the highest echelon you can reach as an urban legend. Have you seen the ghost of Skin Tom? Long white bones with the skin all gone? Poor, poor, poor old Tom. Wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Honestly, I'm not even close to a poet, but I would give that a 4 out of 10. Number one, like a third of the poem is just the word poor. And number two, it's not scientifically accurate. I'm pretty sure you feel the temperature through your skin. So if you didn't have skin, I don't think you would know that it's chilly. That's probably wrong. I'm sure someone's going to comment and be like, actually, you have temperature glands in your neck or something. And if that's the case, I'll bump it up to a 5 out of 10. How's that? In reality, this absolutely did not happen. Yes, it was the 1920s and there was a whole world war going on that had people distracted, but I'm pretty sure a man skinning another man alive in front of multiple witnesses would have been pretty big news, and you can't find anything accounting to something even close to that. More than likely, this is a story that was spread around to teenagers to try to keep them from having sex because, in the South, they'll do anything except, sex education. Either way, I really love the legend of Skin Tom. I think it's absolutely terrifying. The idea of a man walking around without skin is already scary enough, but the fact that he sneaks up on you when you're the most horned up in your car just makes it so much more petrifying. This is definitely one of my favorite Tennessee urban legends. So what's the takeaway? If you are going to have sex, make sure you have safe sex, whether that means using a contraceptive or getting some kind of exorcism. Thanks for watching.